Howdy, everyone. Runt9 here, and welcome to Runt's Fireside Chat. I believe this is somewhere around episode number 14 or 15 or so. Um, it's been a solid week. We had a lot of fun this past week. Obviously, the biggest thing is did an 8-hour stream this past Saturday to celebrate 1 year of being a content creator. And honestly, I had a great time. It's one of those things where I've come to enjoy some of the earlier streams that I've done. This is the second 8-hour stream that we've done. And both times, I started reasonably early in the morning as far as like from when I would usually stream, because I tend to stream in the afternoons and evenings. And so, Saturday, it felt like I was getting up for work, but kind of in a good way. Obviously, I'm a small streamer. I'm not going to be sitting here making partner in tons of money and going full time. That's never going to happen. I mean, I would need a few thousand subs to equal what I'm getting at my real job. So this is a hobby, but it felt normal to wake up at 8:30, have coffee, take a shower, and then stream for 8 hours, and then just kind of relax for the evening. And we played some of the best games that we played over the past year. It was really nice going back and especially Nova Drift. Nova Drift is one of those that it was essentially what I was known for, if you really even want to call it that. Not that I have really been known for anything, but it's kind of what I was known for when I first kind of picked all this up. And then it just kind of fell by the wayside. We've been playing a lot of new games or uh, getting into games that I was addicted to. And so going back to Nova Drift, especially since there's some experimental work out there, some early preparation for Enemies 2.0. It was a lot of fun to just go back in, experiment, and just remember how much I love the game. And very much same thing with Monster Train. Those are two games that definitely, I don't know if they'll ever get old. There are some games that I get to a point with them where I feel like I've had my fix. I'm done playing them. I probably won't ever go back. And then there's games like those where I don't know if there will ever come a time where I'm going to say, you know what, I'm probably never playing this game again. Especially since, Monster Train has a DLC coming out next week, which obviously we'll be doing a special Thursday stream for that. Nova Drift has Enemies 2.0 coming out soon, and that's going to be a huge update that drastically changes the way you play the game. And it was really nice going back to those games, and honestly, Mortal Glory as well. And Mortal Glory seems to get the fans going. Or I say fans, the followers going. Luffy and Adrian both really really love Mortal Glory, and I love the game as well. And it makes for great analysis. All three of those games really like. If I were to say what three games should you try to watch on my channel to know what I'm about, it would be those three games for sure, because they have the right mix of analysis and data, but also are fun and tactical in a sense. I mean, Nova Drift a little bit less so since it's a real-time shooter kind of game, but still to the same degree of like making builds and analyzing what you've got and, doing some math here and there to figure out, like self-damage reduction and whatnot. But I'm kind of rambling on about the games. What I really wanted to touch on again is just, the doing the one special Saturday stream per month. We've done two now since we've kind of gotten on the new schedule since moving, and I definitely think that's something we're going to continue. I very, very much enjoyed. Sorry, guys. Like I said, Mondays are a little rough. And last night I went to bed at a point where I would get 7.5 hours of sleep and be perfectly fine, and then sat there awake for about an hour and a half because I slept in a little bit. Daylight savings time also messes with things a little bit as well, because since you spring forward, quote unquote, going to bed at midnight essentially meant that I was going to bed at 11, and that's a little early for me. So it's probably going to be like this, but as Adrian said last week, Runt's Fireside Chat and Yawning name a more iconic duo. I think it fits here. But yeah, like I said, the 8-hour stream was really nice, and it shows me that if by some miracle, distant future type thing, something were to happen where I could do more streaming and a little bit less work, I would definitely be perfectly happy doing something like that more often. And maybe 8-hour streams can kind of be our go-to one special stream per month. But they would need to be more themed than just, I had a 1 year celebration, or I'm going to give you guys 8 hours of me playing fun games. That's why, like, the first one we did back in January, or did we do one in January? No, I think we were still busy moving in. But the one we did for February was the live top 10, which was also a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. But live top 10s are definitely more exciting the more connected to the topic the audience is. And we certainly had some connection, but we also basically already knew what number 1 and 2 were going to be. And so that one didn't hit quite as nicely. But expect to see more 8-hour streams in the future. We've done 2 now. A, the analytics on them tend to be pretty good. And B, I have definitely enjoyed doing them. And Emmy and I were talking about this yesterday after we finished up our stream, and she took care of what she needed to take care of. Is we might strongly consider moving the Sunday stream a little bit earlier in the day, because as it is right now, 2 to 5 p.m. is kind of right in that meat of the day for if we're starting to get things done. It didn't matter as much before when we were in a rental house, and like weekend homeowner type projects weren't exactly something we could do because it's not our house. Now that we have our own house, we're going to Home Depot or Lowe's and picking up stuff that we need for the house, and figuring out, different things we want to do around the house. We've got TV mounts we want to put up. We need to go furniture shopping and try to replace some of the free stuff that we got from our neighbors at the old place, stuff like that. And so 2 to 5 works in the sense that, like, we have a chance to wake up, we can do some stuff in the morning, but it does kind of interrupt the flow, because after 5, maybe a little tired, a little difficult to get out and do like a big shopping trip if we need to go to multiple different stores. But before that, you kind of run up against, you guys know I live in Texas, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with how things work in the South, but churches are everywhere. And in addition to that, church on Sunday ends at noon. So if you try to do anything in Texas on a Sunday between like noon and 1:30, just expect that everywhere, no matter where you go, shops, fast food restaurants, they're all going to be completely packed, and there's going to be a ton of traffic just because everyone is coming home from church. Obviously isn't as big of a deal since we've got a pandemic going on right now, but there also is a small connection between people who frequent churches and those who may or may not have a small disregard for certain restrictions. We don't get political on this channel, but there is a little bit of a connection there, and so that we have still noticed the church spike afternoon. So like that 8-hour stream, waking up, having coffee, going straight to streaming, it felt good. And Emmy and I may consider moving our Sunday streams a little bit earlier, because then if we finished around like noon or 1, having the rest of the afternoon and evening to do our shopping, go get groceries, go to home improvement stores and all that. So something to keep an eye out for. But during the week, I've been loving the Monday to Wednesday 6 to 8. I'm pretty sure that with all of the different schedules we had over the past year, Friday was every single schedule had Friday as a stream. Even back in the very beginning, the first, I want to say it probably wasn't even a month that the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule lasted. And if any of you out there are considering streaming, don't put a break day after every single stream. Just don't. You lose momentum, and it's much better to just have like quote unquote a weekend, wherever that is, a gap of multiple days between your streaming week, than to do on off on off. I can tell you from experience that is not a good way to do things. But even all the way back then, I always streamed on. I've always streamed on Fridays. Yeah, it's daylight savings time, Adrian. So, us Americans do the weird thing where streams are a little bit different now. Um, yeah, so now it's GMT -5. So it is currently 6:18 here, so it is going to be +5. Yeah, yeah, it should be an hour earlier for you now, which is good. I mean, it's not like you weren't staying up anyways, but now it's a little better for you. 23:19 in the UK. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So GMT -5 during daylight savings time. So yeah, possibly Sunday streams might get moved to be earlier, but other than that, I really like the flow and the format and how things have been going. It opens up the possibility for like Thursday special streams, which apparently is just a thing that's going to happen. Like I said, next week, Monster Train DLC comes out, and we're absolutely doing a stream of that. Monster Train is one of my favorite games of all time, but also one of the most popular games on the channel. So that's a no-brainer. And that way, Fridays and Saturdays off has just been so much better from just a recuperation from the week of work, as well as a nice break in between the streaming week. And then again, opens up Saturdays for special streams, especially on days where Emmy works. Emmy works for a credit union. I don't know if credit unions are strictly an American thing, but basically a bank. And so she's either off one day during the week or off on Saturdays. And so Saturdays also make for great special streams if she's working, because then it's like we're not necessarily going to be able to get stuff done during the day if she's not getting home until 3 o'clock in the afternoon type of stuff. And so it works great for that as well. So I'm really happy with the streaming schedule we've put together. It's been working well. And I've also been pretty happy with how we've been cutting things up, sending them over to YouTube. I feel like that's been working really well. I would prefer to do thumbnails a little better. Thumbnails are still definitely the worst part of pushing stuff to YouTube. So if I can find a way to either stop caring and just push garbage, or just have like a much easier standard format that I can push, one of the two is going to happen, and we'll make that work. 7:21 in Murican time. Yeah, because you're East Coast, North Carolina, right? Yeah. We're GMT -5 here in the central time zone of Texas. So yeah, overall, very happy with how the last week has gone as well. We checked out some great games last week. Time Break Chronicles has actually been not necessarily an addiction, but it's been a game that I've just enjoyed playing in my spare time. The Singularity mode came out at basically the perfect time, because Singularity mode is the true roguelike version of the game. Chronicle mode is their existing story style. And Singularity mode, essentially, like, every run that you win, you unlock a higher level of difficulty, and B, you unlock more heroes that can show up in future runs. And so not only is every run different, but every run that you win gets more difficult and has more options to build your team. And so Time Break Chronicles is absolutely something that we're going to be playing on stream. With the most recent difficulty that I unlocked, it added mission length. So now instead of it being 2 bosses long, it's 3 bosses long. I would estimate that that would probably put a single run at a full 2 hours for a weeknight stream. Nice to see the hatred between mods isn't restricted to other channels. Well, and it's hilarious because Adrian and Luffy just got promoted to mod recently. And, I mean, they've always kind of gotten at each other because they're the longtime followers of the stream. They've been here pretty much since the beginning. But it's gotten even worse since they became moderators. It's almost like having the sword next to their name is just like a level of power that they can't handle. They're also the two people that we do our Tuesday for the King streams with, and so that's also been going fun. I really don't think we do enough collaborations on this channel. And I mean, granted, Luffy doesn't stream too much anymore. I think he actually... I thought Luffy streamed some WoW the other night, doing some raid with his friends. But for the most part, we haven't really done many collaborations with other streamers. We did a lot with Howdy, who unfortunately has run into some personal issues, hadn't been able to stream in a while. But other than that, it definitely has been a fun atmosphere to get in and get into voice chat, have some time with Luffy and Adrian, even if Adrian can't talk because of roommates and whatnot. So look forward to potential collaborations in the future. I've been trying to visit more other small streamers. The problem is cooperative games aren't necessarily mutually inclusive of roguelike deck builders, which tends to be like 90% of what we play. So trying to find fun co-op games that also fit with what I enjoy playing is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. But definitely like keep an eye out for that because like I said, I've really been enjoying the co-op for the King. It's been quite a lot of fun. We've gotten some good back and forth banter, especially Adrian hoarding all the money as bards do. League is my favorite roguelike deck builder. I'm sure you could probably like put together a definition to maybe possibly construe League of Legends as a roguelike deck builder, but it would be really difficult to make words come together to make that happen. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the Fireside Chat's probably going to be all about streaming. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff has happened otherwise. I mean, like I said, I've been playing a lot of Time Break Chronicles off stream. It's a great game. Highly recommend it. We're going to be checking out Team Fight Manager tonight. Adrian has recommended it, and also I remember that Northern Lion was going to check it out at one point on stream. He was doing a Lion's Den episode, and it ended up on his list. He just found other games, namely Alt F4. Duddy, I don't know if Duddy's still in here. Duddy was telling me in Discord earlier that he actually was playing Alt F4 on his stream, and Chibli, who has recently become kind of a part of that community, showed up on stream because he was scouting the Alt F4 competition. So maybe I'll have to play Alt F4 and see if I can't attract Chibli in. Because, I mean, Duddy said that he kind of almost fangirled out, and I definitely would do the same. You've probably been asked about this on another stream you've been in, but if you like deck builders, have you played Legends of Runeterra? So no, I haven't played Legends of Runeterra. I've played a lot of Magic the Gathering over the years, and I actually played some Magic the Gathering Arena on stream late summer, early fall last year. And based on what that did to me, I think that I probably would not go back to multiplayer CCGs, simply because I'm trying to cut out games from my life that make me rage. I don't really have anger issues, but sometimes I do, and there are certain games that bring them about. League of Legends being one of the primary ones, and after my most recent foray back into all random ultra rapid fire, probably going to put League in the pile of likely we'll never play it again. Maybe we'll play it when normal Earth is around. But I would probably put Legends of Runeterra in that pile of Magic made me rage. Legends of Runeterra might not, because it's got Hearthstone-style mana, and so it's unlikely to be as bad. But the problem with any sort of competitive multiplayer game, you end up with sometimes you're going to run up against people that are better than you and or have better decks or weapons or whatever the case may be, depending upon what kind of game it is, and you just get stomped, and that just kind of feels bad. And it takes a very special game for me to enjoy losing. And that's something that I found a lot with board games. A lot of the board games that I own and have played, I can have a ton of fun just doing my own thing. And if I lose, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I sat here and built an engine for an hour and a half, and we sat around the table, having a beer, talking, chatting, having a good time. And I honestly wasn't even paying attention to how bad I was losing. I was just having a good time. Stuff like League of Legends, I'm a little too focused in on the game, and I get a little too competitive. And so those types of games are probably cut out for the most part. Understandable. It's a bit of a ragey game. Very rarely rage, and I've raged at the BS in that game. Yeah, and I mean, I used to be like that with Hearthstone. I played a lot of Hearthstone probably around the time that it came out many years ago at this point. And I enjoy those types of games. I mean, like I said, I've played a lot of Magic over the years. I lost my entire collection at one point and started rebuilding one. I was actually getting Emmy into it, and I don't know, I just kind of lost the fire for it. But knowing me, it seems like every couple of years I go back and buy a bunch of cards, get involved with the current meta, and maybe like play some Commander, and then I'll disregard it for a couple years. I mean, I definitely wouldn't say Legends of Runeterra isn't going to happen, but I would definitely say like the likelihood of competitive multiplayer games on the stream is fairly low overall. My go-to phrase in Hearthstone is "can't beat luck," and I just GG next and forget about the previous match instantly. Honestly, like it's not even luck that gets me down. In Magic specifically, you know, balance is a constant problem, as it is with just about any competitive game. And so what happens to me is I'll run up against a gauntlet of, 3, 4, 5 people in a row that have virtually the same on meta deck, that whatever jank I built, because I'm the type of person that I'm just gonna completely randomly figure out some weird synergy that I'm like, hey, this might work and it could be fun and I'm gonna enjoy playing it. And then I'll run up against the same deck a few times in a row and just absolutely get trashed. And I know that even if my deck got lucky, I'm not going to beat them. And it's just kind of demoralizing. Whereas I can play stuff like roguelike deck builders, and I know that the game is going to throw the same level of fairness or unfairness at me every single time. And I've got the RNG of like, my deck got shuffled poorly by RNG, I drew crap cards and I lost. And that's fine. Queue it up and run it again. And I have a lot of fun with those, regardless of win or lose. But yeah, and Adrian's actually brought up Hearthstone Battlegrounds before. I think that that is something that I might potentially consider in the future. I've actually been enjoying the new genre of roguelike auto battlers, and it makes me think that auto battlers may potentially be a genre that I should look into. I never played auto chess or teamfight tactics or Hearthstone Battlegrounds or anything like that, but based off of how I've enjoyed games like The Dungeon Beneath, Loop Hero isn't really an auto battler. Loop Hero is kind of its own genre, but it also kind of is. And there's a couple more that are on my wish list that sound interesting. I think I might possibly enjoy an actual auto battler. But again, it's going to run into that same problem with it's a competitive multiplayer game. And oddly enough, I feel like the only competitive multiplayer game that I rage less at, I won't say I won't rage at all, but I rage less at, are first-person shooters. I will not say that we will ever play Valorant on stream, but after watching Valorant, it seems like it's just Counter-Strike Global Offensive with Overwatch, just kind of blended together. And it actually seems like it'd probably be a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed CSGO mechanics, and Valorant looks like it's solid. I don't exactly want to install the malware anti-cheat on my system, but it's probably something that I would be interested in the future. You know, you guys may or may not know, but Call of Duty 2 is my favorite game of all time. I was playing semi-professionally. I was playing in online tournaments for money. I never won any money, but I was playing semi-professionally in tournaments when I was in high school. And so even though I don't play that many first-person shooters anymore, it's mostly just because, in my opinion, no good first-person shooters have come out in recent years. You know, I fell off the Call of Duty bandwagon probably around Modern Warfare 3, and I think that potentially some of the newer games might be good, but I just haven't gone back to it. Yo, Very Moist Plumber, welcome back, and absolutely happy to give you the gift sub. It was fun giving out gift subs on Saturday. I think I gave out like 3 or 4, and it was, you know, since it was a celebration stream, it was part of the fun of like, I'm giving back to you guys for being here for a year, and, you know, new people coming into the stream, here you go, have a reason to stick around. And for those of you who don't know, one of the main subscriber benefits you get on the channel is I have a Humble Choice subscription. And basically every month there's 12 free games that you can get from a selection of, I think it's like 15 or 16. And I'll just drop the picture of the list of games in the subscriber channel in Discord and be like, tell me what games you guys want. And every so often there will be like a good Humble bundle that's going for a charity that I really like. And I'll just be like, hey guys, let me know if you want this, and I'll just buy you guys a Humble bundle. So that's also like, I try to give back to my subscribers to kind of make it like cash, like neutral. Not because I'm like, hey, I'm a 503c4 nonprofit company, but more just like, this is a hobby. If I make money from it, cool. But I'm more just focused on trying to build a fun community that likes to stick around and hang out, and we play cool games together. And, you know, I teach you guys some stuff that I learn about games, and then you go and play them about 1 million times better than I do. And so, I like to offer different kinds of benefits if I can. It's not necessarily always easy as a smaller streamer, but that's kind of what I like to do. Thank you, Sensei. Yeah, basically. I do tend to stink pretty bad at games, and it was funny. I was talking to a couple different people. Like I said, I've tried to interact with smaller streamers a little bit more, and basically the common theme as to why some of them have grown faster than I am is they're just better at games than me. Like I was watching Mirror Bear earlier, and she's just sitting there absolutely destroying Clone Hero, which is basically a Guitar Hero rhythm type game. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I definitely would not be at that level of good at anything I play. Unless all of a sudden Call of Duty 2 took off again and I could go back into a rifles only pub and just pub stomp. Maybe I'll go back and play like Medal of Honor Allied Assault, try to find like the one server that might still be alive these days. But short of that, like pretty much anything you see me play, I'm likely going to have less than 20 hours in the game because I switch games so often. And I can explain things. I can give a lot of data, but I'm just not necessarily like a great gamer overall. But I mean, and Adrian's brought this up before, it's not necessarily why you watch the stream. You don't necessarily watch it for the games or the skill. You watch it because you like the interactions with me, or you like the way I explain things, or in Adrian's case, you like how I respond to being trolled and being made fun of. And I think it works out. I like the dichotomy that I get to have with this community. It's a fantastic community that we're building here. And, I've been putting in a little bit of work recently to see what we can do about growing it in a very healthy way. Coming from Mirror Bear's stream, I found her stream via Michael A.L. Fox's stream, and just hanging out with the people there. He fosters a very wholesome community. And some of the other people, I forgot the name of the person I was watching yesterday, but he had around the 40 viewer mark, and it just seemed like everyone in chat was nice and helpful, and they were having these personal conversations, and it was just hanging out amongst friends. And that's exactly what I want to build in this community, and what I want to help our community build together. And that's honestly the reason why I'm doing this. You guys have seen what happens when we have a stream that, we're sitting at 2 or 3 viewers. Adrian is unfortunately not able to make it. Luffy's not able to make it. We're not bringing in new people. And I'm just kind of like, I can talk to myself for 2 hours. That's not a problem. But it's a lot more fun when I get to talk to you guys. But I do think that we're coming up on the 30-minute mark. And it definitely seems like these fireside chats fly by. And yeah, I also feel like I haven't yawned in a little bit, which is good, because I definitely am sleepy. And of course, right as I say that, I feel like I have a yawn coming on. But I feel like this was a great fireside chat. We covered a good range of topics, but it's mostly just, hey, streaming's going well, might change the schedule a little bit. Also, thank you guys for being here. And if that's how every fireside chat goes, I mean, honestly, that's perfectly fine. One other thing to add is I am trying to work on a quote-unquote rebrand in the background. I don't know if you can really call it a rebrand if you don't really have a brand to begin with, but I'm trying to get something together that's going to be a little bit more professional and a little bit more stylized, and also trying to drop the plays from everything. Not necessarily because I want to go into non-gaming content, but more just the plays is a little bit too on the nose, and it's just, I am Runt9, you are watching me more than you are watching a game. Runt9 plays insinuates that I'm playing games well, and that's just, it gives off the wrong impression. Moving out of an apartment and into a house this weekend, congratulations, Luffy. Definitely, like, being a homeowner has many pros and cons, but I would definitely say there are far more pros than cons. But anyways, I feel like we need to wrap up this fireside chat. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are out there watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can see more like this in the future. And come check us out on twitch.tv/Runt9Plays. Hang out with the community live for all of this. You can be a part of this wonderful chat here. But that's going to do it. Until next time, I'm Runt9. I will see you later.